Thanks, Larry. More useful information from Larry
Do you still
McReynolds.
have those photos next to you, John? Or not John, Jessup?
Wow.
Sorry, I just
I
saw
know I
John's
have a
name pop up.
receding
That's
hairline, but that was mean.
hey.
Oh, you be quiet.
Speeding up, no slowing down.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Track Packers podcast for episode 2 of season 4. It's now March. Weather's getting better. Race season's getting much closer. We have pretty much the full cast here in one way, shape, or form. Myself, Mason, along with Mr. Jessup Pelkey, Miss Becca Pelkey, and also Miss Riley Pelkey, who's, I believe, holding the green flag right now. So she's all set to go.
Yay.
Definitely ready to go with the green flag.
Well,
Jessup, how are you
she's.
doing?
I'm doing good. I'm very entertained by our newest flag man on the Track Packer podcast. Actually, it would be.
Yes, she's getting a lot of waving in. Becca, how are you doing?
Good. Just doing some off-season work behind the scenes, and it's one day closer to racing season.
Yes, I am also in race work mode, I guess, more highlight videos than anything. But hopefully within a month and a half we'll be actually at a racetrack, although I need as much time as possible from now until then to get everything done. But thank you, everyone who is a watcher or listener of this show. We want to thank our presenting sponsor, Hitch Harness, Mr. Tyler Hall, joining us for another season. If you don't know who Tyler is, he drives the number 60 IMCA Modified along with the Wasona Modified, and he's got a little more racing planned as well this year, which I'm sure he will reveal in due time. But speaking of Hitch Harness, head over to the website, check out the products they have, including the signature double and single style receiver hitch harness. They're the signature products designed for efficiency and safe storage in the back of the truck bed. And you can check out all the products they have on the website. If you have any questions, be sure to message Tyler or give him a call, and he will be happy to point you in the direct direction. So thank you so much, Tyler, for supporting us on the podcast. So typically, we'd have a set lineup for each episode, but since it's the beginning of the year, and since the first episode was just Jessup and I had to go back. We actually draw for our starting positions, kind of like every other typical racetrack. And so I have our little picker wheel handy for our lane assignments or starting positions, I should say. So as I share my screen, Jessup, since you were the winner last year, you get to draw first.
All
So
right, go ahead.
are you
Yeah, I'm
ready?
ready. Yeah.
Okay. There's the spin button. 1 through 100, so all sorts of different options.
Huh.
I like how I'm always subjected. After driving through the field and oh,
Right.
good, right in the middle.
51. Okay. I don't have a piece of paper, but just remember 51.
I am third.
Okay. So I'll draw next. Shuffle it again.
Oh,
Right in the middle. I'm guessing that I'm gonna draw a high number. Just my luck. We'll see. Oh, geez, this might not be great. Ooh, 21. Okay. So it means I'm not last. This is good. Becca, you're next.
All right. Pick a good one for me, Mason.
this
All
is a
right.
problem with soda rules. I get handicapped by the draw redraw.
Well, hey
Some say
now,
that
like
some say there might be a conspiracy here.
Quite a discussion point this week on social media.
yeah, right. All right, 61 for Becca. So right now the lineup is going to be myself followed by Jessup, and Becca. And if John joins, he'll
Oh,
be in
that's
the rear
cool.
of the field since he missed
Oh,
the
these are kind of
he
cool.
missed draw cutoff.
John is at the rear. Oh, so I'm still on the front row. Yeah.
Yes, you're still on the front row for now. So let
Oh,
me do a quick rearranging. And even Riley, actually, we could have drawn for Riley too, but
okay. Where's Riley?
she's kind of like in the Roadhog setup with Becca right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is kind of neat what I'm looking at here.
Well, it looks like you're taking a look at some old photos, well, actually, before we even get started, we have to wave the green flag so we can officially start episode 2 of season 4.
Riley, do
And
your job.
we'll actually get into who or what are we repping. And so I will start it off, and it kind of goes for all of us because we're repping some pretty cool shirts. Of course, we got new swag this year, just for kind of specialized shirts for us personally, but Track Packers podcast representing with our My Race Pass fantasy names on the back. Myself, the Roadrunners. So if you see me on the top of the leaderboards, that is,
You didn't even put my fantasy name on my back.
there is a reason for that.
I don't understand.
There's enough controversial stuff in the world. We don't need to add to it.
What controversy?
If Mason knows you'll wear that shirt in public, and that might
I
offend.
would wear it with pride.
I know you would.
I
So
don't
I should say for
understand.
all of us, actually, no, I didn't. John's shirt doesn't even have his fantasy name on the back of it either.
I feel
It
special.
doesn't have Mr. Miserable on it?
It has Mr. Miserable, but that's not his fantasy name.
Uh, for those who want to know, it's Racer 654.
Racer 654.
It is Johan Berkale.
Yes.
I always think it's fun to run into people and then like get onto the topic of like fantasy racing and be like, "Oh, what's your handle?" And you're like, "Whoa, now I know who that is when I play fantasy racing." Like I always think it's fun to like have those conversations and discover who's the name behind the handle on my race pass because there's not a good way to like unless it's pretty obvious, it's not there's not like a great way to find out who's who you're playing against. So I think
I
it's
I
fun.
like
remember I remember Larry McFall was complaining about that one time. It's just like, why aren't these people on My Race Pass Fantasy like using their actual names? And I'm like, well, sometimes you got to stay a little bit hidden for a while.
look, here's the thing. If you suck, you don't want people to know that you suck. Now, mine is class specific, so if I struggle, if it's the class that I'm named after.
Which is ironic because you seem to always do pretty well against in the B mod divisions.
Yeah,
We weren't,
which
we
is
weren't naming names, Becca.
people can put two and two together.
I don't understand. What
What
is
does
the
the
name?
back of your shirt say, Jessup?
I think it's Yeklep Jessup. But we're going to be making some slight modifications to this year. Since Mason didn't want to put my actual uh, my race pass fantasy team name on it, I'm just going to go with my actual new fantasy team name. It's going to be a Trek Packer back to back season champ 2 time,
I think
reigning
that's too
and
many
defending.
characters.
Doesn't matter. I can iron it on. It might be 2X, 2 time defending champ.
Do you know how to iron?
Yeah. Yes, I do, Becca. I ironed your stuff. You, on the other hand, do not.
Ew. My iron.
My ironing board. And it
No,
is my iron too, so
no, it's mine.
boo to you, as Scott Bloomquist would say.
My ironing or my iron
How did you never used it?
because I don't have to.
I say, if you don't have to, why do you use it? Becca, what does the back of your shirt say?
I'm the blonde bomber 24.
There we go. And even
Not
Riley has a track packer shirt as well.
Poopy McPooper Pants 5.
No.
Well, thankfully, I didn't have the option to well, I shouldn't say thankfully. I didn't have the option to put something on the back of hers, which is probably, it could have been a whole number of things.
She's our little princess. Little dirt track princess is what she's gonna be.
Oh, yes. She seems to enjoy it. She looks good in pink.
There she is. Yeah, we need more volunteers at the racetrack, so her future's already set and determined.
Oh, yes, she's gonna be picking rocks, isn't she?
Yeah.
Well, it rocks. Dakota Speedway doesn't have those.
Anyways, moving on. That is what we are repping for this episode, and we will move on to our hot sauce, hot memory rewind and give a shout out to world-renowned high school basketball coach Isaac Hot Sauce Sandro, who is leading the Velvet Aggies. How did they do? I haven't been able to keep track of basketball because I don't have cable for one. Uh, but
Mason, you could just
what?
watch PSP. They might be covering it.
Is that on their
I don't know.
Facebook?
I don't know. I don't watch basketball. It's not my thing.
Covering it since it's so close to my knot.
Well,
I know
he
Jorge got a game recently because he took a sweet action shot of Isaac.
okay. I'm gonna look this up in the meantime, but Isaac, who's very busy with basketball right now, is also getting ready for the race season in the 12S IMCA modified, and who knows what surprises he has up his sleeve, especially after last year. So if you see him, be sure to stop down in the pits and say hi. Check out the Sandro Snack Shack because they always have some sweet goodies down there. You can probably even try some of his hot sauce that he has on hand because I know Becca is a hot sauce gal. I am not, so Becca could be our taste tester for a special hot sauce that he has. And so 12S Racing on Facebook is where you could follow him. And thank you, Isaac, for supporting us on the podcast. So, Jessup, what photos do we have for this week?
Well, Mason, we got some fun photos. We don't have dates on it, but we're going to give you guys all a chance to answer who these are and where this is at. I just got to go through some of these because they're kind of cool and I want to look at them. Anyways, this is more of a historical photo for those who don't know. Mason, do you know which track this is?
Well, that is the Dakota Speedway with the very interestingly placed flag stand,
Yes, that would be correct. That is the flag stand on the front stretch looking back across to the infield
which
or the lower pits.
which I would say, granted, social media was just coming out when probably that flag stand was removed from that location, but if it was still in that spot, I fear for social media what kind of commentary that would have right now.
I think it's funny,
I don't
noble,
think
and
it would
brave.
be funny for this day and age, unfortunately.
Why? It's got cement blocks there to protect it.
This is very true. We'll just leave it at that. What else do you
Yeah.
got?
All right, let's go with this one next. Do. Name the driver.
57. I might want to guess Dwight Wagner on this.
Becca, do you have a guess?
It's similar colors, and there's a 57W.
For my time.
This would be Jamestown's very own D. White Wagner.
I like that he's keeping it similar on his color scheme, so that's a good indicator.
And
Me, sec. Oh, wrong person. Da-da-da-da-da. Find my next one. Gonna keep it relatively loose. Let's try this one. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, ooh. That looks like a Marlin Seidler 7, but I don't think that's a Marlin Seidler car.
Becca, any guesses?
I my I I I thought the same thing as Mason. I thought that looked like a Marlon Sadler car off the bat, but I've never known him to have an all white car. So
Well, you both would be correct, as that is Marlon Seidler.
what year?
I just said I don't know the years. There's no dates on this. From a time long, long ago.
You should do that as a throwback scheme this year.
It was
All
easy on
right, Mason. We're gonna keep going down the line here. You should know this one. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Yeah.
What the? Why is there so
I
oh, 6, 7?
Oh,
Is that a 6, 7?
I believe that's just
the
a six. Is
six.
that Greg Nikotenko?
That is correct. Why not? Why not? Hey, Mason, why not?
Why
Let's
not? Why not mine it indeed?
get, maybe try another one here. All right, here we go.
Boy, it's been a while since I've seen Greg Nikotenko race in general.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing, but
Okay,
maybe
I'm
this
leaving
year
this
with
one to Becca, you got to
Well,
get this one.
you know this one, Becca.
oh, I said it for Wayne 4J's Wayne Johnson. I said it 3 times.
Yay! Well, yay, Becca! Yay!
Very good.
All right, let me see if I got any other fun ones we can try.
And the 4J gravel product special is I used to hear growing up.
Knew you would know that one. That's not a good photo. That one
More
has
for
the name
Riley.
on it. That's D White.
Yeah,
That's
Riley wants to guess one. She's very excited.
okay. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Da, da, da. This driver is from Jamestown. I'm sorry, that wasn't a good enough hit, Riley.
Ooh, number 9.
Down.
Yep.
I guess the first thing that comes to my mind is Andy Cap, but has Andy Cap been racing that long?
I don't think
No,
he
it's not
has.
Andy. I'm not sure if this is the same person or if it's the. There is a person with this name who races in Jamestown still.
Same number?
I can't remember off the top of my head. Ooh, you saw the answer.
I didn't see it quick enough.
And the first one, first initial starts with a B, and last initial starts with an H.
Brian Hansen.
You are correct.
Yeah,
That's
so that makes sense with a 9 junior street stock or yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
nice.
I,
That's a
I
fun one.
yeah, I can see the correlation there.
All right,
And,
Miss Riley needs to go for a nap. I'll be back.
and Riley's going to take it pit side.
Riley's going to take a pit side. So that is our hot sauce hot memory rewind while Becca's putting Riley down for a nap or making a little bit of a pit stop. Jessup, you were recently at the swap meet that took place in Bismarck, Mandan. How would that go?
It was good. It was a swap meet, kind of what we discussed on the CNC, but overall, it was a good experience. Got to see some people, got to hear some racing stories and um, plans for the year, and it was good. Did I know half the stuff that was getting sold? Not a clue. But overall, I had a really good time, and it was a good experience. Now,
Good deal.
Mason, while we are being messaged and putting Riley down, we should tell people of the potential new format of how the season championship will be determined this year. We talked about this after the CNC.
You'll have to jog my memory again.
Well, we had discussed about having a season-long points championship versus just who's on the pole at the end of the season.
Oh, so compiling all the points after each episode. You're creating more work for me, though.
It's not that hard, Mason.
I'm a busy guy.
Mason, we spend like an extra hour after every podcast talking. I'm pretty
Well,
sure we can.
this is a valid point.
Well, well, well.
this is because guess who's gonna have to take care of little Riley and have to leave and go pit side dang near every night on the podcast. So therefore, Jessup gets the championship.
This is a great point.
I believe Miss Riley will be asleep before our podcast begins. Great counterpoint, Jessup. Great counterpoint.
Well, depending on the week, yeah, that might be a possibility.
All right, John, welcome to the podcast.
Nice.
Now we've just finished the
Where are you podcasting from?
my new couch.
Oh, okay. I was like, those are different curtains than I remember in the background.
Oh, basement. All right, John, name this track.
Dakota Speedway.
Yay, he's 1 for 1. Okay, John. We're gonna warm you up with an easy one, okay?
Okay, before you do that, John, what year did they move that flag stand?
That is a good question.
Well. We're getting deep into the hot sauce. Extra hot and spicy tidbits.
I don't know if I even know that, Mason.
Well, because I was talking about like in today's day and age, if it was on social media, that placement of the flag stand, oh gosh, the comments.
Trying to think out loud here.
He's not thinking out loud, he's thinking internally.
No, because the 2004 when Jeff DeBuck won the Governor's Cup, was the flag stand already? Was it still in the middle, or was it already still in the front straightaway? Because I remember the picture. Trying to think of the picture.
I don't see. I think the first couple times I went down to Dakota Speedway, I don't remember seeing the flag stand there.
Yeah, it was in the early 2000s.
Okay,
It was in the
so
early
before,
2000s when it happened.
so it was before the invention of social media, which is a good thing.
I think so. Yeah, it was before that.
All right, John. Well, that's probably not true because
It was probably like
MySpace was still
MySpace.
around.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
MySpace
Yeah.
was probably the big
You ready,
hobby
John?
with MySpace. Give me a second.
Car number 2.
That is Tony Marsh.
Well. John is spot on again.
What the heck? You didn't show that one the first time.
Okay, John. We'll show you another different one because Mason's offended that I gave you an easy one.
That
I mean,
was
we
easy,
guessed.
Mason.
I think we guessed all the other ones.
What number is that?
That is the number 99.
KQ94 FM.
99.
Sponsor, a very popular sponsor on the side door is Budweiser. This driver,
John Strand?
no, this would be Terry Barnes.
Really?
Yep.
That one I did not know. I was going to say that looked like before Sean's time, but I wasn't sure.
And they also have the Lonesome Dove on this. Good times.
Oh,
Let's go with
but you
the
said it was
next
Terry
one.
Barnes.
Let's
I knew
see.
that one.
Yay, Becca.
You knew that one?
Yeah, I said it from
Sure.
on the side of the as I was hopping back on.
Oh, yeah, sorry. We couldn't hear you through the headphones.
Here's an easy one.
Why does it cut off Becca's audio out of all the people on this show? When
I don't know. Easy one for you, John.
Daryl Nelson.
Yep.
And in the background is the trailer for Mike Bruns.
ooh, bonus
That's an
points.
impressive one. Attaboy, John. How about a Jamestown one for you?
Mm.
All right, here we go.
I bet you I won't get this one. That one is just we gotta move it up a little bit. 55.
I have a guess. I don't know if it's a Jamestown guy though.
Yes, Mason, guess.
Steve Keeley?
No.
Dang it.
That's Jamestown. It looks like Dakota Speedway.
That was
The
Dakota
track-
Speedway.
The track
Is
is
that
Dakota
Sandberg?
Speedway. The driver apparently is from Jamestown. Let's go. First name Ron.
Morlock?
Ron Schwind.
Ron Schwind. I was gonna say I don't know that driver.
That's all right. Either do I. We're all in the same boat here.
I wonder if they're related to like the Jeff Schwind clan.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Could be. Jeff's gonna have to tell us. Well, this will
Because you
be
got
an
Jeff
easy one.
Schwind and Jeff Schwind Jr. and so yeah.
This one should be easy for John.
You said that last time too.
Hank Berry.
And just like that, made it through the easy one. Uh, uh, we'll go more towards Mason's side of this state now.
You should show the one from Minot that I had.
This is a Dickinson car or driver.
23?
Yep.
Is it a Berwick?
Oh, Becca's on.
The Dale or
White?
Is it Eric Berwick?
Kevin.
I've never heard of Kevin Berwick.
That's what the thing says. Kevin
Oh,
Berwick.
Eric's
I-
22. Eric's 22.
Mm-hmm. There's 22.
All right, now we're going to get into more of the ones that we gave to Becca and Mason.
Okay. That is Dwight Wagner.
John is accurate.
Shannon Schlinker's number 4 was in the background.
I was wondering whose 4 that was. I'm like,
I think it was. I think it's
Hold on.
Shannon's.
Bonus one.
Kent Arment.
Okay,
holy crap, I would not have guessed that one.
John was spot on with that. This is the one that had some trouble for our group.
It is either Brian Hansen or it's Steve Hansen.
Well, it's Brian Hansen.
So I assume that's a relation to Brian Hansen Jr.
Yeah. Yeah, they're related some. I think it's dad.
Okay, next one.
Marlon Seidler.
Who's in the background?
Steve Vessel.
I would probably agree with that. Okay, now here comes the tricky one. This driver is out of Mason's area.
Brand Martin?
No.
Greg Nikotenko?
Yep.
Brand Martin was from your area. He was in Dickinson.
I was to say, Fran Martin was not in Minot.
Attaboy, John.
That would be John Carell.
what a stumper.
That was a real stumper.
Here comes another tough one coming at you, John.
Oh my.
Even Becca knew this one.
That might be maybe Wayne Johnson.
Maybe.
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 And I think that might. Oh, one last one. Da-da-da, da-da-da. This is the OG.
John Gartner with the McDonald's scheme.
Senior or junior?
Senior.
And that would be it.
Good
How
job,
about this
John.
one?
Good job, people.
This one.
Well, it's Johnson of some sort.
Yes. But which one? There's 80 of them.
Lauren Johnson had a 96. I didn't know that.
That's what, 96.9.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if that was a car owned. Okay, I'm just speaking out here really quick. I'm doing a theory. I wonder if it was a car that was owned by whoever had that station as a sponsor, whoever that sponsor was, because Lauren. Okay, so that's Lauren Johnson in it. Mason, do you remember a Marlon Winters?
Nope.
Kind of out of that Watertown / Aberdeen area too. He used to come to the Stampede every year, and he was also a 96.9
Oh.
based on that sponsorship.
Yeah, I would not have recognized that at all.
There
Here,
you
let me
have
see if
it
I can let me see if I can find a picture of it really quick.
on the Western Wanderer. Well, John, it has some
I gotta get into it. I haven't even been in that site yet today.
Yet
today.
today.
Today, do you check it
Today.
every day?
Oh, sometimes to see if you uploaded new things.
Oh boy.
I
Yeah,
have
Ooh,
I
to
do
keep
the
current
same
on my
thing. Looking,
history.
I'm not
I
gonna lie. I like Kyle Busch's rap
It's kind of nice, isn't it?
design for today. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. Like I check like eBay for different cars from like the early 2000s to see if there's any new ones that pop up that I don't have.
See, it's like Mason and I are the same person.
Except for
Listen, did you ever
hair
find
and
that girl on
but
social media that your dream girl that I thought you'd be like the perfect match for?
no,
Did you
I
ever
have
Oh
not
God.
Facebook stalked her.
Oh God. Becca's
get
sending
on
up
it?
people again. This is scary.
Remember, folks, that's just
I want to make sure you find a nice girl, Mason, and she seems like a nice girl with similar interests as you. Yes,
Typically, they
Jessup.
don't wave the blue flag with the yellow cross. They
They
just kind
kind
of
of just
display
hold
it.
it.
oh, I'm going like this because as we saw down at the Clash at the Coast, you don't have to wave the checker flags.
Didn't you guys? Oh gosh, that was way too funny. Okay, Mason,
Can we
do I
get
have
a topic for
shareability?
a hot sec?
We're
Yeah,
already
we
off
could
topic.
yeah, we could talk
I,
about that.
This is gonna be a weird cut for me, Mason, but oh, that's a cool looking car.
there.
Cool.
Cause see,
That's
he
Dev
ran
Mom
that
off in the
for
background.
yeah, and he ran that for many years. Because I remember Marlon for many years
Who's
running
the
that
guy in the
scheme.
background, John?
Dead Molov. Mason already said it.
He's from Moorhead.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Still, it's a Minnesota car, by the way. It's a Minnesota car.
Now they have our full cast back. John, would you like to show off your shirt and what it says on the
Oh,
back?
yes. Yes, I can. Because it is the most perfect thing in the whole entire world. So first of all, we're wearing the Track Packers shirts, right?
Yep.
Yay!
So thank you, Mason, for this great merch and everything. So okay, so what's everybody's colors? So obviously, Mason, you're bright pink. Becca, you are purple, and oh, Jessup, yep, you're dark and you're a like normal with black. So my back of my shirt. This is the fun part. Let me know if you can see it.
I do like
See
it.
it, and like I could have done my race pass name, but I feel like this was more apt for you.
This is perfect
It is
because
perfect.
my racetrack nickname has been Mr. Miserable, and it's been coined ever since 2020.
What a coincidental time frame.
That
Such a good nickname. So, I mean, we even had pictures of this, right, Becca? Even at the pit shack when I was in there taking driver registration one day, I had a note up next to me and I put it right next to my shirt and next to the computer that was, come on over and meet Mr. Miserable.
For some reason, I feel like that phrase is just a little bit questionable these
you
days.
know, no, it was very accurate. There was
Back
just
then it was
some
very accurate.
miserable guy
Even
sitting
nowadays.
out at the pit entrance, getting in the dust and having to talk to people in the
And
heat.
getting all dirty and just getting sunburned. Remember, Jessup, really sunburned?
I do.
And just miserable out there in
John
that
was
hot
one of the
heat.
happiest people in life at that point. And
I was in a great
somebody thought
mood.
he was the most miserable person at the track.
I was having a great time. And that was when I first started learning how to use, the draw system and driver
Yeah,
registration through my race pass. Becca gave me the computer. She's like, here you go. This is how you're going to do it. I was like, oh,
yeah, that
okay.
was a hectic day that went smooth, only for drivers to complain.
Well, they're not a driver anymore.
Mm.
No,
Nathan,
but
you could take that photo that Becca sent and you could put that as part of our, podcast.
Oh, such a
That's
great
perfect.
photo. Such a great photo. Well, we had a few schedules that came out in recent weeks since our last episode. I figured we'd talk a little bit about each of them, starting with Williston Basin out in western North Dakota. They just released their schedule just last week, and They got a pretty good looking schedule. They have a new crew running it with Bland Bohannon, I'm say modified driver as the track president. So anything stick out when you look at this schedule?
I was thinking about that pumpkin shootout we were talking about. I wonder if it's a season-ending demo derby,
Oh,
not
it
like
could
a
be.
wreck fest, but I wonder if it's a demo derby. It could be. It might not be. I'm not sure.
I mean, it could be a normal race night, right? Or just like a end of the year race thing. Because I think
Yep.
last year, if I'm not mistaken, I think some of the drivers went over to, was it Big Sky that week?
Yes.
Because they went Stampede, then they went Oktoberfest, and I think they went over to Big Sky. So it could just be a year end, kind of final race event for them over at the Speedway. Or like Jessica, you said, it could be a demo derby or
Yeah, because I
enduro.
know actually a lot of the
Could
a
be
few
an
of the
endurance.
Williston drivers went over to that Big Sky doubleheader
Hmm.
on that same weekend. And this is the weekend after Oktoberfest in Mandan, I believe.
Yep.
Yes.
So,
It's the weekend of the Fall Classic.
oh, yes. Yep. Yep. Over in Ogilvy. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
And I kind of noticed that they have quite a few double headers, which I think is good for them. I think it's good to kind of have drivers kind of spend like a day or two there. And a lot of the Western drivers are very, very good at like hanging out and partying with one another.
Hmm.
So I feel like those are going to go over pretty well.
Yeah.
I think so
Plus,
too.
I do like how they have a little bit of like even some breaks because last year and even in previous years, one of the biggest things with Wilson has been going through and if they run multiple days in a row or anything else on that one too, sometimes the track isn't in the best shape. So this will give them a little bit of time to, hey, let's have a 2 day show, see how it goes, and then we can kind of sit down, reassess, and then rework it, and then get it into another show. So I think they're providing themselves enough breaks too to reevaluate and continue to improve things for the 2025 season.
This also gives me the vibes. I know Estevan Motor Speedway did this during the COVID years when it was extra difficult to travel across the border. They had doubleheader weekends to encourage drivers from the US to come up and race with them. They don't do that so much anymore. I just double checked their schedule to see like, oh, I wonder if they still do doubleheaders and I wonder if they're like on different weekends so that we could allow traveling from all tracks. But Estevan doesn't have any doubleheaders this year. So I think Williston's kind of adopting that theory in their scheduling. And I think this will work out really well for them.
Hmm. Yeah, I would agree with Becca on that too. Yeah, it looks like a nice schedule overall for the track. And then obviously
Yeah,
they'll have
and
their big fall roundup that they always do for year end for one of their big specials for invitational season. So that'll be a good one for them to kind of put a cap on the season on the 13th and 14th before they have their final event, whether it's an enduro, whether it's a demo derby, or whether it's a race event on the 4th of October. As long as weather is still good.
Plus, I know there was a lot of talk on social media last summer about the track surface out at the Wilson Basin Speedway. And with new leadership, I think there will be some different hands on the track prep equipment out there. And I think these doubleheader weekends will encourage drivers to come and support them. But
Mhm.
I'm hoping for bigger and better things for Wilson as they move forward. And I can't wait to see how things go for them.
I would agree.
yeah, all very good points on Wilson's schedule. And that was kind of just like the the skeleton version. Obviously, they'll have an official poster and everything for specific classes if there's any classes off for certain races. And so stay tuned for that on Wilson's page as well. The next track on the docket to discuss is Devil's Lake. And so
And they
they
just had
have
their
a,
banquet too.
yeah, their banquet is next week.
I thought it was this
Yes.
weekend.
I believe it's the
I
8th.
can't see, Mason. Zoom in.
I think it's the 8th.
Bold.
Oh, whoops. I totally thought it was this weekend. My
Anyways, I
bad.
like that they added late models pretty much full time.
Hmm.
I like late models, and that's the only way we're going to get them out west is if we start slowly having weekly tracks for them to race at, because more people will start buying them in the west, and then they'll need a place to race, which means the tracks in the west will finally have weekly racing of late models.
That is a very good point. And granted, since I live over in Fargo now, I feel like I don't appreciate late models as much as I did when I lived in Minot, just because
Yeah, you're
I have
spoiled.
yeah, I'm kind of spoiled. I can
Spoiled.
go like within an hour and see them almost every week. And so when I
Hmm.
lived in Minot and you
Yeah.
saw them like once or twice a year, it's
Just
just like, oh,
just for you, Mason, stay in your lane. You're spoiled.
This is true.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
I would agree.
But I do agree with you. I think it's good to have more consistent late model shows and having the possibility for them to kind of sprinkle into more races out in the other tracks in Western North Dakota as well. I do find it interesting that they have a lot of April races, and I will be curious to see in general if we have April racing because it's always the hope going into the new year. It's like we have racing scheduled in April, and for one reason or another, that hasn't panned out. But I know
Well,
Devil's Lake is usually one of the first tracks to kind of try to tackle that.
well, it's weird too because right? Because obviously some years nothing's scheduled in April, and April is super nice. Other years, everything is scheduled in April, and the weather's nice through all of March until we get to like the end of March, and then what does it do? It either has a big snowstorm, it gets cold, it gets rainy, it gets snowy. I mean, there's been multiple years, and we've all lived through it. There's been multiple years that we have a huge snowstorm like the first week or second week of April that dumps about 20 inches on us, and then we have to be pushed back a couple more weeks. So, yeah, so it'll be interesting to see because I think last year, Mason, I think their schedule was very similar to that in April,
Well,
and
and
trying to go through and get it started. And I know we were like that too, the Dakota Speedway side last year. We had a lot of April stuff, and I know this year the schedule actually has now been pushed back to the end of April, which is probably even maybe a little bit more feasible to get, to get racing action in fully.
well, I remember last year what the test and tune was at 75 degrees and then couldn't race for the next 3 or 4 weekends.
Yes. Yep. I remember coming back from Vegas last year because we bowled Wednesday, Thursday, and I flew back on Friday. And I remember coming back on Friday and looking at the weather and we it was like 41 degrees with rain showers at that time and I'm like there's no way right now because the week of was all like in the lower 30s or something like that too. I was like this is just gross.
No, yeah, that was not gonna happen that week.
No. So, okay, so what some big things they have on their schedule though. Jessup, you mentioned it earlier, more late model shows. Enjoy that.
Yep.
The wingless sprints are on there quite a bit as well with the Western Renegades. So they'll be doing their, basically going through kind of their home base again within Devil's Lake along with McLean. And then if you look here, they've got some big shows on their schedules too. So Golden Hammer for the late models, that'll be an NLRA show. That'll be on June 14th. So kind of right in the middle of June. June 28th, I wonder if that's where they move the Cliff Reeves Memorial Street Stock Special,
I think so.
which is actually kind of a nice break too, because I think there's several of the local area tracks that are off that weekend, so that'll be kind of nice with the June 28th time frame. And plus, they're going to have Legends on the 28th, so that's another new addition to Devil's Lake this year. They're going to have a Legend show up there.
I did not notice that. That's actually gonna be a fun track for them.
Yeah, I think the Legends will do quite well on that since it's a little bit of a smaller little bull ring too over there. They've got a couple off weekends obviously on their schedule, and then the 26th of July is when they're going to have their Golden Hammer for the Midwest Mods. So that'll be happening on the 26th. They'll have their year-end special, kind of their end of the year specials on August 30th and August 31st. That's their Labor Day weekend that they always have their double header. Shows that'll also be the nationals for the non-wing sprint cars. So that'll also be the nationals weekend on there, and then the pure stock nationals that they have every single year too will be that September 13th time frame. So that'll be on that one. A couple things too to note. If you guys see it on their schedule on August 2nd, they're having their late model points championship night actually on that night. So they're going to end their late model shows on the August 2nd time frame. And then because then late models start getting into more of their bigger events as we get towards the middle to end of August into obviously to September with all the invitationals.
Yeah, so a lot of good races. And they also have the Lightning Sprint Nationals. I believe they're night 3 of 4 for that little tour that they do kind of up in this
Yes.
woods.
I forgot about that. That's August 9th.
Yep. So a lot of big races going on in Devil's Lake, and hopefully the weather cooperates so they can get an early start to the year in Devil's Lake.
I'll have a couple of off weekends in there too. So I look like May 24th was an off weekend for them. And then July 5th, sorry, that'll be an off weekend with the holiday weekend too. So, yeah, so that won't be off. That's actually the start of the Dakota Classic Modified Tour on the
Yeah.
5th. Kind of excited about that already.
And then
I
the
hope the
last,
weather's nice.
yeah. Yeah, weather kind of ruined a lot of stuff last year. Hopefully not the case this year. And we got River Cities that released their schedule just a couple weeks back. If I can, oh, I'm
Jessup, are
sorry.
you shocked?
I am actually.
Jessup was surprised. You know what's funny about this, guys, though? Before Jessup, you really started taking over like some of the Dakota Dirt stuff.
Hmm?
Um, River City used to be like one of the first schedules out every single year. They
Yeah.
used to be out like at the end of October, I felt like every single year because they used to start. This is one track that used to be a let's start as soon as we can in April to try to get as many races in as possible. Um, before yeah, Grand Forks always used to have to cancel almost the whole month of April every single year. So they decided we're like, nope, we're starting May and going from there. Makes it way more feasible for sponsorships.
Yeah, that one caught me off guard. I kind of figured we'd be early March, late March before we
Mhm.
started seeing it. I honestly thought they would release it during their car show, to be honest.
Oh, yep.
And then they released it. And then I was like, oh, wow, this is a pleasant surprise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so
not a
I'm
lot of change from previous years, but they do have their typical like special events that happen throughout the year with like the World of Outlaws coming in, both late models and sprint cars. And I want to, which one is the king of the wings? That is the MSTS 410 sprint. So, Jessup, you're the sprint car expert. So, what is the MSTS series like?
It's new. I believe it started in either a year ago or 2 years ago. It's basically oh the MSTS used to be the 360 group that kind of popped up after the UMSS guys changed motors, and then all of a sudden, I think a year or two ago, it started switching over. But I could be wrong. I'm sure
So,
all of our sprint car friends will be like, "He's wrong."
I was gonna say, so what would be like their home area basically that they're normally like? If it's like a suit, like
The
Huset or
Midwest,
Just
Houston's
Midwest.
Midwest in general, I would say. Let's pull her up. MSTS Sprints. Midwest Sprint Touring Series. Okay, to their page. Looking at that. Oh, that didn't help me. Whoops. Pop
While
that
you're
back
kind of looking
open.
that up, so they have quite a few. They have a nice variety of classes, and they kind of shuffle in outside of the regular classes of streets, Midwest mods, sprints, and late models. They have a lot of lightning sprint shows, a lot of Wasota A mod shows, and so you kind of get a nice variety throughout the year depending on the night. And I believe there's one Wednesday night show, which I actually kind of enjoy those just because it's kind of a nice little change of pace for me to get up there. And so, um, but yeah,
Oh,
they got all their classic stuff going on. Of course, the John Sites Memorial will be the 19th annual this year, the first weekend of September. So that's always going to be a great one, seeing who all shows up as far as the late model cars go. And so, um, yeah, it's gonna be,
yeah.
looks like to be a
And
really
Mason,
good
I saw
season in
that
Grand
the
Forks.
for the sites, it was the same classes as previous years.
oh,
So
that's
with the Superstocks
fascinating.
mods, Midwest mods, streets, and late models will be there all 3 nights. Um, Couple things
Ah,
on here too. Mason, you mentioned that the Wednesday night special they have that it looks like that's July 2nd. They also
mhm.
have
Yep.
a Thursday night special on May 22nd.
Oh, yes, they do. Yep.
A couple other things on the schedule too that I can see. Obviously, there's multiple NLRA events. There's a lot of 410 wing sprint car events, which is huge up there. They have their sites memorial, which will be their big one. They also have it looks like the all sprint car cap kind of on the 12th of
Yep.
September, and then again on the 19th. But they're also going to have Wasota A mods on the 19th. It looks like as well as part of their schedule.
There is a night that I think Legends are coming up there, and I can't remember
There
which one.
is. It's August 19th,
Yep.
Thank you. Yep.
or is that August 15th?
That's August
August 19th.
Ah,
No, I
15th.
think that's 15th.
It's 15.
well, this is fascinating.
Yep, that's a
Oh, it looks
15.
like a 9.
I know it looked like a 9 to me too. That's why I was like, I think it's a 15 though, because it's 1, 8, 15, 22, for every Friday. So yeah, so Legends will be
As
up
a
there
graphic
making a return.
designer, fonts are important.
I would agree.
Mhm.
I should send you a reel I saw on Instagram a couple weeks ago.
Ooh, and
Hmm.
that night is also the Wayne Anderson Cup finale. Again, that's the big sprint car events that they'll have up there, one of them. for the NOSA 410 sprints. But look at that, guys. School bus races are also that night. That's a huge hit within the Grand Forks and surrounding
Hmm.
communities over at that track.
Yep.
That's a lot of fun. I've never been to it, but if I would actually go up and want to see something, I'd actually want to see that one because with how tight of track that is, because we've all been up there, how tight of a bull ring that is, that might be a lot of fun. School buses going around there.
What'd you find out on the MSTS, Jessup?
It's a hodgepodge. A little bit Minnesota. It's like southwest corner of Minnesota. It's got Jackson, some North Dakota, some South Dakota, some Iowa racing. If you go look at their Facebook page, you can actually find this is a shock. You can actually find um, a good chunk of the NOSA schedule.
Oh,
See, that's kind of the fun thing about some of these tracks that haven't released their schedules yet. It's like you can kind of piece together a lot of their schedules based on other like series and classes, and so
Yep,
it's
they're going to
just
be. Let's see. For us locally, they'll be at the Dakota State Fair. That's kind of a big track. Mason likes those. Huset's a few times. Boone County Raceway, Brown County with NOSA. So there's one for NOSA. Casino Speedway with NOSA. The 28th is a TBA, which I'm sure they'll have with NOSA. Rapid Speedway, Jackson, so Minnesota, and then the King of the Wing weekend will be the 17th, 18th, and 19th at Norman County Raceway with NOSA, River Cities, and Red River Valley Speedway on that Sunday with NOSA as well. And then going a little further down back to Jackson, Huset's Off Road Speedway. For some reason, I want to say Off Road Speedway is like in Nebraska, but I don't think that's right.
it's in kind of northern Nebraska,
Uh,
Norfolk, Nebraska,
where's Shelby County Speedway? I've never been.
Harlan, Iowa.
Iowa.
mhm.
I don't think I've been to Shelby. Maybe I have. Let's see. Jackson, which is for the Jackson Nationals, the 19th and 20th, which happens to be in, well, that's going to be a NOSA show and IRA show. Hmm. There you go, NOSA fans. There's a bunch of your schedule.
Yeah, the 19th and 20th will be a big one for over in Jacksonville.
The only
I
one
mean,
that I
Jackson,
find
Minnesota, for
The
Jackson
only one I
Nationals.
find curious about is the Shelby County on the 6th, but it's their 360s, and that's the same weekend as the Jerry Richard Memorial, and they have 360s, but I'm not sure if those are UMSS or not. But that's what I know about good old Midwest Sprint Touring Series.
Yep, so those are the latest schedule releases up in North Dakota. And so still
Well, there is one more, Mason, you have not discussed.
oh, which one's that?
Well, the NLRA released their schedule.
They
Oh,
did.
thank you.
Remember,
Thank
you
you.
posted that one to us this week in our chat.
Yes, let me bring that up real quick because it's actually a pretty nice schedule. They go quite a few places as well. Don't mind me looking back at the laps to go to make sure my lineup's all good for NASCAR.
I know we've got 3 laps to go, and I looked at my lineup. I think I'm still sitting pretty good.
Yeah, I think mine's pretty well
And now it's going to
situated.
be like a hodgepodge because everybody's pitting before the stage break.
I have no idea what's going on. Uh-oh.
Jessup, change your whole entire lineup.
Something's happening with Kia. Kyle.
Yeah, it's called pitting.
Yep. It says
They
Pitt next to
he
his
had
name.
he had an issue in the pits. They were all sitting there looking at his car.
Oh, you're
Oh,
you're ahead of me then on my broadcast. Anyways, here's
ooh,
the
ooh,
NLRA schedule. They
yes.
have
Go ahead,
18
Mason.
shows at 9 different tracks. So a nice variety going through North Dakota and Minnesota and sneaking up into Canada as well.
Yeah, some shows to note on there too. So, like you said, Mason, they're going to Morbin. That's actually, I think, the first time they're going to Dead Horse Creek Speedway for an actual NLRA show. So that'll be kind of a nice one over there on the 23rd of August.
Yep.
So the Labor, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the last year, I don't know, did they get either night in on the Howie Show Memorial in Red River Valley?
No, remember they transferred it over to the sites. It was the prelude to the Johnny.
That's right. Yeah. So
Well, there's
Yep.
a
hopefully,
tire going down the backstretch.
oh,
Oh,
it's out of the
Kyle
way now.
lost his tire.
Oh my goodness, what is going on?
He lost his front tire.
Well, I'm really glad I did not pick him today.
I hope half our group did.
Whose tire was that?
Kyle
Kyle,
Larson's.
let's
Larson
Oh,
give
lost
that
his
a
right front. Okay. Okay, Mason. NLRA schedule.
yes.
This is
So
nice.
yeah. So we mentioned that hopefully they get the Howie Schill race in this year without any weather shenanigans. 'Cause I was actually going to be at one of those nights. That was going to be a good show.
Yeah,
I
that was the
saw
fifth.
Jamestown's added it in.
Yeah, Jamestown's added in for the August 9th show. They ran late models last year during the doubleheader for the street stocks on night two, and had I think Mason they had 27 late models that
Something
night
like
and had
that,
a
yeah.
really good, and I think they had a really good mix of the NLRA guys there. So yeah, so that night will be kind of fun. They're also going back to Norman County. That'll be on the 29th of May. That'll be kind of an exciting show. They're also going back
Were
to
off
Buffalo
last
River
year,
on June 8th. I don't think they were able to.
or did it get rained out?
And they no, I think they were left off. I don't think they could get a night to fit him
Uh,
in last year.
Right. Because the only time I saw I think late models were there was during the Outlaw night.
mhm.
Hmm. Yep. And then yeah, back to Buffalo River on the June 8th time frame. That'll be kind of nice too. And then um I think like you said, Mason, there's a good variety of tracks on there. And then their Labor Day show is going to be over the 30th and 31st of August time frame at Greenbush. So since Greenbush has a complete and ready to go schedule again for 2025, which is kind of exciting after kind of a year of uncertainty back in 24, and they got their got their race season started back in June last or back in July last year. Had a pretty good conclusion to the year, so that was good.
Yep. So, and 18 shows, I think that's a good amount. I think that's a nice, reasonable amount. It's not too overwhelming and too strenuous on the racer. And of course, late models are looking for tracks to race. As Riley joins us once again. So we have an extra full field here today on the
She's the
episode.
provisional.
She is the
Yep.
provisional. John, unfortunately, you missed draw cutoff, so you were starting at the rear.
Oh, that's fine. I'll start at the rear, to start the season, and then I'll just zoom my way right up to the front.
Yes, because we need to make sure that Jessup doesn't write three-time defending champion on the back of his shirt or try to iron it back on, which I'd love to see him try to iron that on.
I
It's
would
not
too,
that
Jessup. I
hard.
want to see you iron this back on because first of all, I could see you be one of those people that with your oh, Becca has dropped. I could see this Jessup with you being one of those people that physically gets sidetracked when you have the iron in your hand. So you just put it down on the shirt, and then all of a sudden, like, oh look, squirrel, and then all of a sudden, you would have this big patch of iron on the back of your t-shirt.
That'd be pretty sweet. As I'm steaming out the competition.
Well, I think you would just iron it on so much that you wouldn't even be able to see it. So that would be good.
Well, it might just become the ongoing natural theme for the podcast.
Or it might just go like through the shirt mason as a whole, and it might just, he might just have
Mason
a big
buys
hole in the
high
back of the shirt.
quality shirts.
I know I can get another one, so if you ruin it, just let me know.
Now, I
Okay.
do have a question for you, Mason, and maybe this is more for our viewers. So, what if our viewers want to get, these shirts?
Yeah. Yeah. What if they want to look like us? What
These
if
are
they
more
even like
specialized
us?
shirts, but I can't, if there's enough interest, I could potentially put in an order.
I was gonna say we could do, sell merchandise with our hats. Should have wore my beanie.
I should have brought my
Could have had my
beanie in.
could have had my hat and then our shirts and yeah, I mean they could get, track packers gear with shirts and everything else too with t-shirts
Nice
and
and
support
ahead
us
of
at racetracks around the country.
Oh, somebody wrecked.
This is
That
a
was earlier.
recap.
That was
Oh,
when Chase Elliott got spun on lap one by Ross
poor
Chastain
Chase Elliott.
in turn one. I know. I was so disappointed.
Very
Well, we'll
dis-
display the white flag before we get even more off course as the drivers in the background are doing. And give a shout out to our good friend Brody Carlsrud in the B1 IMCA stock car. He's gearing up to go for 2025. I guess I can sort of release this, but he has a new car. So he's getting
It's a
that
station
all.
wagon.
I swear if it's a station wagon look or if it's a Camaro body, Brody, we might have to have a discussion.
Oh, it's a Camaro station wagon. Even
I
better.
will have a discussion with Brody if it's a Camaro body. I don't believe it is.
Come
I'm
on,
just excited.
Brody.
I'm
Do the
excited because
station wagon.
Brody has some really awesome looking paint schemes. And And I liked his paint scheme from, 2 years back because he kept it last year too. He didn't rewrap the car last year, which I was kind of a little bit disappointed in, Brody, because you always have really nice paint schemes. So I was like kind of looking forward to be like, oh, what's his paint scheme look like? And I saw it, I was like, okay, well, it's still the good one that he had from the year before.
He
But
is
uh,
Now,
but I'm
changing up
Brody,
a
you
excited
little
to
can
bit
see
this
what it
year.
looks like.
now
Hmm.
Brody, you can reach out to John Breckel announcing LLC for a sponsorship for a new wrap.
He is changing it up this year, for what he told me.
Ooh, I'm excited about that.
Station wagon.
Please, not a station wagon and not a Camaro body. Please. I
I
repeat,
really, you know what would be really cool though, if somebody actually did like a station wagon body, not like the body style, but did a
Is
wrap
that
of a station
legal?
wagon on their car. That'd be kind of cool.
You
there's a
mean like a
station wagon
grocery
street
getter
stock.
without it looking like
Yeah, there's a couple of them,
the wood panel?
so
Well,
that'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Because Terry
Yeah.
Blacklands used to have the station wagon street stock for many, many, many years.
yep, and
Now
JJ
does
Bird over in Alexandria has one too. I don't know if
Hmm.
he's
now
doing it
does
this year.
IMCA stock cars, are they allowed to have a station wagon body?
I don't think they are. That's a good question. I don't think they are.
Oh,
Oh,
Gordy
there's
makes an
Gordy.
appearance
Gordy
too.
made appearance as well.
But anyways, thank you, Brody, for supporting us on the podcast. You can follow Brody's Racing at Brody Carlsrud B1 Racing or his podcast, The Real Deal with B1, as he gets his stuff ready for the 2025 season and all the fun plans he has in store. So thank you, Brody, for your support of the Track Packers podcast as well. As we wrap up, anything that you guys are working on as the season gets closer, anything you're keeping an eye on?
Yeah, I've been kind of doing some just social media slash website prep for the year for Jamestown, and then also getting ready for stuff for Dakota Speedway with my announcing stuff, just to make sure I got everything in order. Um, I've also been going through and kind of doing a little bit of prep for kind of to start the season from not just schedules, but also from on who's going to be in what class. Because Mason and I kind of talked about that a little bit last night, just trying to see who's changed classes so far. Because there's been a couple drivers coming back, there's a couple drivers that are changing divisions, so kind of getting prepared for that too. So when we start the season, we've got the right people and the right classes and right car number to make sure that our transponders are working and everything else is right. So that's what I've been working on here in the off season, and I've got a lot more planned upcoming here, and for sure probably the April timeframe to get ready for when we start full steam ahead here in 2025 when the racks open up.
Yeah, that's kind of a perk of being one of the My Race Pass people. You kind of get to see some sneak peeks of some changes.
That would be correct.
What do you got going on, Jessup?
Just trying to update Dakota Dirt, and we got all of the current ones up to date. Maybe I don't know if I got Thunder Mountain up yet, but I got all those up to date for the calendar, and basically just baby duty, trying to figure out what the summer's going to look like, and just got to start looking at Dakota Speedway TV gear and get that site back all updated again, and that's about it. It's been
Mason,
pretty
there was
low
a
key.
big wreck.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
one of my drivers just got involved in that wreck, so I'm like, crap.
Yeah, it looks like it
Village?
was Suarez, and is that Connor?
Is
Yep,
it?
that's Connor.
Yep. Oh, he got slammed by Zilich.
Yeah.
Well,
But no,
that's
Jessup,
not
any
great.
updates for DakotaSpeedway.tv, or is that kind of still rolling forward as
It's just
equipment
business as
gear?
usual. Got to reach
Okay.
out to uh, Tim and Allison and talk about some potential races over in Jamestown and
Hmm.
see what we can do with that. Outside of that, just really try to keep everything on the same level page with that program, and hopefully we don't have a wild season with that. And I mean, wild and good would be positive, but as Mason knows, wild with camera and video stuff and electronic stuff usually don't go hand in hand in a good pattern. So we're keep everything low key. Done some up, we've purchased some backup stuff to slowly phase out some of the original equipment and put the new equipment in, which was mainly last year. And I think we're looking pretty good for this year.
Yeah, I'm looking to hopefully do a push for some, I guess, support racing in a sense this month because I have an idea of what drone I want to get for this upcoming year.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I'm
because I
going to
was going to
try.
ask you, Mason, if you've replaced that yet or if you hadn't yet.
Not yet, so that's kind of the main focus for March, and I believe the first race weekend would probably be the third weekend in April at
For
either
you,
Devil's Lake or Rice Lake is what I'm kind of
like
looking at
actually
right now.
in person.
Yes. I
Yep.
think that's what we're going to shoot for. So that's kind of what's on the schedule right now. And of course, I have a whole bunch of other video projects to work on, but that's kind of the main focus for the last 4 to 6 weeks before the season gets here and whatever weather allows us to race.
Yeah, I think my first event for sure, physically probably at a track scheduled wise would probably be when we open in Mandan on that Friday in April, that first Friday in April. That's probably my first scheduled one. Just with work and other demands before that. So I don't think I'll get out to anything else probably before that, unless we get pushed back here into May and then my schedule opens up and allows me to go more places. So yeah, probably my first event too. Probably be that fourth week of April.
Yep. So down to the last few weeks and still some schedules yet to be released. So there'll still be plenty to talk about in the next few weeks as the season
Hmm,
gets closer.
Mm-hmm.
agreed.
With that, that'll do it for episode 2 of season 4 for the Track Packers podcast. Thank you as always to the watchers and listeners, and be sure to like, share, and comment if you have anything you'd like us to discuss on the show. We'd love to hear the feedback. Thank you to sponsors Hitch Harness, The Real Deal with B1 Brody Carlsrud, and Isaac Hot Sauce Sandro. Weather's getting nice, so that means soon we will see each and every one of you out there packing the track.